Hey, 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 we are live on this beautiful day in Chicago. I see Dawn, Bonnie, Kathy Myers. Where is everyone? Kathy says, well, I just turned it on and you're third. So you're doing good. Well, we have clean hair. We have clean hair. We have clean air in Chicago area. Unlike New York, feeling bad for you guys out on the East Coast. Wow, I heard Washington, New York. I saw those images. It looks like nuclear fallout. Wow. All right, here they come. Tommy the cat's here. Oh, Tommy, remind me to talk about Rhode Island. If I forget within this live stream, there's something coming up in wrong island. Man, I got the tongue twisters going. Wrong island. Right island, Rhode Island. I love Rhode Island. Okay, look at everybody's coming. Guess what? We're not going to have buffering issues. I'm almost guaranteeing it because I'm on Wi-Fi. Who do we got here? We got Chris, Sarah. Oh my gosh, Joy. A lot of the regulars. I love you guys. The smoke here in Rhode Island. So Rhode Island's got the smoke too, huh? Connecticut. Yeah, the whole. Don't go outside. It's like you're smoking cigarettes if you go outside. What else can you do? I mean, it's got to come in the house, right? I mean, you can't keep your windows closed forever. Trisha says, my book is awesome. Thanks, Trisha. Very cool. I got some good feedback on the book. I'm pretty excited. We found one typo. The word T-O too, and like the chick story, the chick story about the chickens. There's when I was going to smush them, it's to smush them. So far so good. But I'm the audiobook, they're starting on the audiobook. So I got to make sure and get those little fixes right. But I think other than that, Houston's raining. Is it hot down there in Houston? America Marie. What else we got here? Hey, Ron, a barefoot hippie? A barefoot hippie. Well, of course you're going to be barefoot. How old are you, Brenda? I bet you're your early 70s. And you were in the mid 70s. You're 73, I'm going to guess, Brenda. That means you were right in the thick of it. Maybe 75, like in the mid 60s, right? Were you a flower child? Gosh, I wish I would have. I was born in 59, so kind of missed Woodstock and Hendrix and Janis Joplin and the whole 60s, right? All of the bands, the music was so symbolic of the 60s, Vietnam War, protesting, just a crazy. It's in the 90s? Okay. Chris Diaz says, is it Diaz? Chris, I see you a lot in comments. Amanda's here. It's been the 90s up in Washington State. That's kind of unusual. Well, you know what? It's been hot throughout the whole country, but now I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I've been up in Wisconsin. I just got back to the Chicago area. I'm in a rent-a-house right now. House is closed, sold, the Chicago house. So here for 2 months, kind of here. My son is here. He's a senior. Well, he graduated. He's going to FSU, and being this first summer, he's going to still be here with his friends. So got the house for him. Really, I'm going to be up in the Northwoods a lot. I'm going to be like all over the place. I don't know where I'm going to be. My parents were hippies. I didn't miss the music of that time. Yeah. Well, we still play it, right? Hey, did I miss? I'm still looking to see how old you are. Was it Brenda? I can't remember. Now I can't even remember. So many of you here. So what's going on? Happy to be your neighbor soon, Brenda says. Is that in Arizona? I'm already in Arizona, up in the North Phoenix area. Maynard Robbins says it's 90s. Anybody out east other than Tommy the cat? Tommy in Rhode Island, you guys are all getting hit out there. Okay, cool. So I wanted to show you. Okay, so I'm leaving on the trip day after tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm getting my days crossed up. I did for this live stream. but I'm leaving Saturday morning really early. And I am starting out in my truck. I finished all my packing today. I just got back yesterday from northern Wisconsin. My son and his buddies are still up there. We had a good poker game, nickel dime. My parents used to play nickel dime. Well, we play with poker chips. And the $5,000 chip is $5, $20 buy-in. Anyway, so we had some good hold'em. I kind of broke even. Let's see, what else did we do? The mosquitoes were insane. Carry you away. It's the worst I've ever seen, but I think things are getting better. No smoke here in central New York. Oh, good. So it cleared out. I saw on the news yesterday, Jacqueline Summit. I was watching I don't know, CBS News or whatever, and it looked like the apocalypse. All right, we got Ashley here. What's going on? No excessive emojis or all caps, please. Support your moderator. Yeah, mosquitoes. I wish they didn't exist. I wish they went extinct with the dinosaurs. It's like ticks and mosquitoes are the only two insects that, I could take anything else, but man, that's just, anyway. Yeah, let's not talk about mosquitoes. So heading out tomorrow, I'm going to be going. I made a map for you guys that I can show you. I don't have the fancy click thing, bring pictures in. We're just doing a basic live stream here. So I'm going to be doing, high school 1977 with the map. But I'll show you where I'm going. Marie Fletcher, I'm doing good. And you should have my book in a few weeks. You've got a DVD of Woodstock? Oh, man. I've seen a lot of YouTube on Woodstock. Oh, yeah, you're old Cockney gal. I was just old Cockney gal. From England. I got like 3 more stories for my trip to UK next year. Stuff you've never heard of. You know me. Let's talk about that for a second. Where this, I know you are worried about smoke, but our firefighters are working their butts trying to get the fires out. Frederick Weber said, "You're from Canada then, right?" I'm sure I saw a lot of airplanes. That's very dangerous work, by the way. I see Britton's here. Hey, Britton, what's going on? That's very dangerous work. And as a pilot, I can tell you, swooping in, getting the water, swooping low. There's a YouTube you can watch of a Hercules. I think it was a Hercules, or not a Hercules. It was, what's the giant flying boat? The biggest flying boat, Howard Hughes days, not the Goose. But there was one where there was just so much stress and he came out of it and the wings like came off and the whole thing like disintegrated. So that stuff is really scary. And the guys on the ground, right, fighting the fires, you can get encircled just like that. So that is, yeah, if Ashley, thanks for putting the link up. My book is out. I'm not going to be marketing it much. I told you guys about it. I wrote the book for my sons, my family, legacy, when I'm dead and gone, great grandkids. That's more why I did it. You guys want to see it. So I put it out there, got it published. So I'm not going to be selling it much, but if it just came out, and Into the Unknown. Somebody asked me today, I got recognized. Pearl Vision, shout out to the Pearl Vision gang. All the women at Pearl Vision are watching, well, not all of them, but most of them. And what struck me was the one woman said, she said, I told my husband about your channel, and he goes, "Oh, I already watch Ron." And I was like, I got to pinch myself. That was pretty fun. But anyway, why did I talk about Pearl Vision? I was over there today. I don't know how that came up, but I was talking about the channel. I get so distracted when we do these live streams, and then I'm watching your notes, and it's like so much to talk about. New glasses? No, these are the glasses I use for live streams. Why? Because they're not progressives. Like I have the reading, and then the mid range, and then the high range. And if I use my regular glasses like these or my sunglasses, I have to sit like this. Hey, Flo, $50. Safe travels, Ron. Thank you. So these are just from Walgreens cheapos so that I can look straight at you. But it looks like there's a lot of reflection. going on. But anyway, what was I talking about? Talking about let's talk about the channel first. So it's July 15th is going to be 3-year anniversary. We're going to be coming up on 300,000 subscribers. If we're lucky, that will happen. It'll happen maybe in fall. I don't know, but it's been quite a ride, and I'm going to continue to do it indefinitely, but I'm going to slow down. I have been on a 3 to 4 episode a few weeks. I had one every day, on these trips, 35 episodes, just, and I love it. I'm passionate, but basically the way the trips work like that is I'd be editing all night, every night, on the go during the day, barely enough sleep. And I'm not going to do that on this trip. So on this trip, I know I was talking before about like motorcycle diaries, like as we go. I'm going to do that on Instagram. Ashley, if you could put Instagram connection, I'm going to be doing a lot of reels, reels, a lot of shorts, maybe a minute, 2 minutes. I think you can do more than a minute. I did a 2.5 minute reel on Instagram, and it went through. So when I find cool, we're going to be in the mountains, Wyoming and Montana. I'm taking you, and there's just going to be a lot of cool little side stories, I think. And this trip, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay low. I'm just not going to go editing bananas, so that the content's going to come out slow. But on Instagram, there's just going to be a lot of little videos, like as we go. Look at this. Look at this. We're on, like, for example, we're on the Oregon Trail, and I'm going to show it to you as just before I do the shoot or after the shoot. I'm going to go, look at where we're at. We are on the Oregon Trail, and something really bad happened here. That's one big story. I mean, I've got a couple of stories. I'm going to start out in Minnesota that are 4-part, 4-location stories. Bojangles the Wizard for $10. Thanks. You should come up to Paylip, Washington, do a video on Enzra Meeker, the man. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Thanks, Ash, for $5. Love the channel, Ron, and thank you, mods, Alice and Ashley, or Ashley and Alice. I'm doing well, Ruth. How are you? I got to try and talk at the same time as reading. I'm missing a lot of your stuff. So if you need to repeat, just repeat. I'll try to get to all your questions. I know you're in Washington. Amanda, you keep saying, when am I coming, right? I'm going to come there someday. I do have like 4 solid stories there. But all right. So anyway, let's just talk generally about the channel. So I'm slowing down. I'm going to go more bigger stories less often. I might even be at a point where it's every Sunday night only. Melanie, thanks for the $3. Thank you so much. I got to give an update on gravestones. Did you guys get all the gravestone updates? We had 5 or 6 working through, during that horrible live stream in Eagle River last week with the buffering. I don't know if that didn't get through. I can repeat everything. I didn't go back and watch it, but so I'm going to channel's slowing down, but they're going to be bigger, better, more epic episodes, epic stories. And and the other thing is, I'm not really doing like the Susan Shoemake story yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah. I'm really not doing much of that anymore. I've noticed when I started the channel, the murder stories, people really love those. And I think everyone's getting burned out on those, just in general on YouTube, because everyone's doing all these stories and it's repeats. Not that mine are repeats, but I'm going to focus almost exclusively, and I'll still do a few, but I'm going to still do crazy stories that you've never heard of that are like, holy crap, that really stand out. But I'm really going to focus on 1700s, 1800s, Gilded Age, Victorian stories, Roaring 20s, maybe something from 20th century, a little, but early on up until the 50s. But it's mostly going to be that. It's going to be Western frontier, some, and always some World War II, but not much. Just, yeah, my analytics say you guys don't like to watch I mean, there's a core group of you like the World War II stuff, but the views are really low, which tells me my subscribers don't want to watch that. They don't want to watch the murder stuff. DNA solved, this and that. So that's kind of where I'm going. And on this trip, I'm going to be focused on pretty epic stories, most of which you haven't heard. Some you have heard just because I have a personal interest, and maybe I have a twist of it that you haven't heard before. Virginia says, my daughter lives in Woodruff, Wisconsin, and you're in Louisiana. Cool. Woodruff is just north. I used to have a place in Minocqua, which is connected to Woodruff, but now I'm north of there. Trish Ross, $5. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm trying to watch what you guys are saying. And Tamara's Cockcroft is hooked on my stories. Thank you. That's so cool. So this trip, let me show you what, so that's kind of where the channel's going, which I think is all good. For example, I'm obsessed with buried alive stories, and there's very few of those. And I have one more big one, big one. I have more, like this Sunday night, I've got an epic grave robbing story that happened in Ohio, another one like you saw before, but even bigger and more epic. So I'm going to be doing those, all kinds of crazy stuff that happen in cemeteries I love. So I'm still going to do that. Yellow Rose has her bells on, and Sheila Myers says, hope you come to Madison County, New York someday. Love your videos. Cool. I love New York. I don't know that I'll be back to New York because last time it was insane. T-Mouse 65, thanks for the 5. So anyway, without further ado, here's my plan. Here's my game plan for this trip. Now on my computer screen, it reads backwards. Can you see that? I don't know. Let's see. Let's do it from back here. So I'm going to try and do this backwards. So I'm in Chicago, right? So it's going to be like a counterclockwise kind of deal. So literally Saturday, I'm going up to southern Minnesota, just south of Minneapolis, St. Paul. I've got a big story there. Actually, I'm going to Rochester first. Am I going to? Yeah, Rochester. And then that's got 4 parts to it. And I'm going to make my way towards another area in Minnesota and then end up in Sioux Falls. You see, is it coming up backwards, you guys? Or is it coming up? Because like on my computer screen, it's like backwards. Can you read this or is it backwards? Let me know. Hey, what about Ohio? Ellie says, Ohio is this Sunday night. I have 2 more stories in Ohio that are still coming in the next couple of weeks. Or next one tonight and then 2 weeks from now, Sunday night premieres. Ohio, love you. We've got Ohio cooking. Do you have Swedish relatives? Yeah, a lot. Did you see that episode on my relatives at Memorial? It was in Skokie. I can't remember the name of the cemetery. Anyway, nope. You are not backwards. Okay, so it's just me. All right, so I'm going to basically end up for a week in Deadwood area, Rapid City. Is this Rapid City? No, Sioux Falls. Yeah, right here. Okay. The Black Hills. You guys know the Black Hills, Mount Rushmore, all that. I want to say, maybe I'll find Crazy Horse. You know the Crazy Horse half-finished Mount Rushmore thing? Let's go check that out. I've never seen that. Probably not going to go to Mount Rushmore. But of course, you know what cemetery I'm going to Deadwood. But I have a story. Cheryl Daggs, Bojangles the Wizard, $5. Thank you. There's a place in Walla Walla, Washington to visit, the Whitman Mission. Okay, send me a note on that. So I'm going to is it Mount Moriah? It's called, right? Mount Moriah Cemetery. And I may do, just because I love Calamity Jane, I might Canary, I'll tell her, I'm probably going to do her story. Just not going to do Wild Bill, although I'm doing a connected Wild Bill one. Hello, Jeff. Thanks for the $5 Canadian, 550, I should say, from British Columbia. Do you ever run into any snakes in the desert? Rattlesnakes, yes. Not a lot, but there's some biggies. And they don't actually bother you because they give you the warning. Just don't step on them. Just be aware of your surroundings. They're very, actually, rattlesnakes are not bad unless you get bit. You go step on one or keep going, but you cannot miss the rattle. It is super loud. Okay, so Chris says, I'm surprised you didn't see any snakes. Yeah, you know what? It depends on the season. It's like the scorpions, it was maybe not hot enough. Cookie Cupson case. That's right, Britain. I still want to know who, so by the way, Rosemary Peterson, it's cooking. I can't say what's going on, but I'm in touch with the family and it is cooking. Remember, we're helping get the word out so that Rockford police, it's cooking. So really involved in that. The Benders next summer, that you saw that's cooking. And then there's another, the one that I'm doing on this trip is like that, where we're going to be like part of it. And Deb solved freaking crux of the story. Deb, through Ancestry, like the author was even like, oh my gosh, of a big book. So we're doing some really exciting things. But anyway, so you see here the Black Hills, right? And then from the Black Hills, we're going to Cheyenne. Is it Casper and Cheyenne? No. Rapid City down to Casper, and then down to Cheyenne. Okay. Cheyenne. Now we're getting close to the Biggie Mountains. Kim, for $10. Thank you. Thank you. Very cool. Now I can't tell you like exactly what I'm doing. I got to keep it like mysterious. And then I'm heading to, I'll just say this part on the Oregon Trail up here. There's a very interesting story, a couple of stories. So we're going to be like right on the edge. Here's Yellowstone. You guys been to Yellowstone, right? So you see this question mark? By the way, I got to be back to Wisconsin by July 4th holiday. So this is like what, a 2.5 week deal. But I got like a week cooking in the Black Hills and almost a week. Like, where are we going to go? I'm going to take you guys. We're going to do some adventures. It's just kind of, so a lot of this is I've got stories. I may not do them all, and then I'm going to come back basically to North Dakota, and I've got a big story in Duluth, and then I'm going back home. So that's kind of like what I'm doing just generally. So again, lots of Instagram reels. I hope to do them. I'll try to do a live stream, but if we get this buffering stuff, then I'm just going to do it on the laptop. We'll check in a couple of times on the trip. I really would like to do it at, some cool cemetery. So I'm looking up something else here. Hold on. So we got the trip. I have some notes, things I wanted to talk about. Yeah, Roaring 20s. We talked about that. Let's see what you guys are talking about. I missed a lot of your conversation. So let me go back and take a peek at what you guys are yakking about. I missed December for $1. Thank you, December. Kim, for $10. I think I missed you, so sorry about that. Jeff, I got you for $5.50. I remember that. And Maricopa is here. Deb Reed. We talked about Cookie Cupsnant. And I'm just trying to scan here. Amanda Panda, you were down in Aussie land with your husband a few years. Woke up to pee and there was a dinner plate sized huntsman spider. Dinner plate? I think I've seen pictures of those. Is that the big furry thing? I don't think they're dangerous, right? But I would just like, yucks. Tommy the cat. So Tommy the cat. Okay, so here, let's talk about a couple of meetups, maybe. I talked to Forest Home Cemetery, which is where we did that downstairs. So we did the chapel and we saw the crematorium and remember that one at Forest Home? And Garen there had told me that every summer they had been doing Beer Baron Mausoleum tours just for one day. The family comes out, you got to be respectful, and they open it up and you get to go. The one you want to go in is the Blatz. If you go back to my live stream, it's like cool and massive. It's like a church. But I can't pin down a date, and I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but if it does, I'll send the alert out with the date, and anybody that can come to Milwaukee, July or August, if it works out, we'll do a meetup for that. But the big one, the big one. So I'm going to be doing an episode taking everything that I've done and taking it up a whole nother level, huge step up in production, something really, really cool that I'm just teasing you with it for Halloween. It's going to be shot in mid-October. It's going to be in Rhode Island. I'm going to be flying out to Rhode Island for like 2 or 3 days to do this epic story, and I'm going to be at a place, but I can't tell you where yet. But this place has invited me to speak. And what do they want me to speak about? They want me to speak about the resurrectionists. They want me to speak about the buried alive stories. We've become almost expert in these stories just because of the research and Deb and team and going to these places and telling. I think we've covered all the buried alive stories that have not been told. There's one story that has been told that Whitdox did, which is really good, that I won't touch because out of respect, he did it. And I don't want to retell it because he did a great job, of the woman in Pikeville. I can't remember her name, but we've pretty much covered it. And we've not just told the story, but we put ourselves there. We said, oh, can you imagine? It's like a time machine, and what would it have been like? And we really delved into the details. And I think we've covered, I think we're like almost experts together now on the resurrectionists and the buried alive, all the newspaper articles, all the stuff. So anyway, we're going to have a Rhode Island meetup in October, and I'm going to be speaking at this place to a group. So hopefully, I know Tommy the cat will come, but I'll give you a lot of advance warning. And then the episode will probably air on Halloween. So it's a creepy story. It's a true story. And we're going to do it in such a way that it's not. And by the way, I'm going to be doing more stuff, not just at the cemeteries. We're always going to have the cemetery. We're going to get to the graves, but I'm going more locations. I'm going to do more museums. I'm going to do more interest spots, or where these things happened, whether it be a crime or a famous event, not just walking through the cemetery. Some of them I will just walk through the cemetery, but I'm trying to take the channel to less quantity and then up. Not that we don't have good quality. I think we have good quality, just because I was a maniac. I love doing the editing. I love doing the music. I've never just rushed anything out. So I don't think we have crap out there, but I'm trying to do Sheila Myers, someone awesome. I can't wait to see this. My great grandmother is from Rhode Island. Oh, cool. Well, I wonder how many of you are going to make it. And then next summer, it'll be England, Scotland, England. I'm going to be going off the trail up in UK. So it's not going to just be Edinburgh. It's not going to just be London, but it's going to be in the wilds. If I'll just leave it like that. That's my plan anyway. Take you to places like some super epic places. But again, I'm not going to do this 35 episode 3-week trip just killing myself. I'm not going to do that anymore. It was fun, but after this last one, I almost burned myself out. And I noticed that YouTube immediately punishes me when I went from 3 episodes to 2 episodes a week. They're just like, no new subscribers, just tanks. They don't show it to new people. That's fine. That's fine with me. I don't care. We'll get to 300 someday. That was my lifetime mission. And if we get beyond 300, where it goes, I don't know. But I'm here for you guys. We got our group, and it's all good. Edinburgh is in Scotland, not UK. I know that. Come on, just give me a break here. I'm like live. I'm just rattling. I know where Scotland is, okay? I know where Scotland is. We got that covered. I won't go to the wrong place. Everything's good, Moose. Breathe through your nose, dude. Everything's good. Mary says, no paranormal guys. No, we're not doing that anymore. It's, I just didn't have for me, we were not coming up with compelling stories. We had some good stories, but we're just running into a lot of dead ends where this is about new content, testing new boundaries, and it really ran its course pretty quickly. The things we investigated, we really didn't hit anything that like was intriguing. I mean, there were intriguing stories, but like instruments, we tried like unless we make it up, and Britton and I, we're not going to make it up, and then it's and just to and I'll tell you the other thing. Britton and I went on that trip to West Virginia. We did the Mothman story. That was such a long trip. It was so much fun. The editing was ridiculous. The shoots ridiculous. I mean, we put a lot of work into that, and then when it came out, it just got piddle views. And I'm like, we're not going to, spend all that time, and then it takes away from Faces of the Forgotten. And I'm like, man, I'm not gonna get distracted like that unless it's really growing. And there was no growth. It went to 18,000 or whatever, and that was all you guys coming over. There was YouTube was not putting it out to new people, or it was, and people weren't interested. Maybe there's just so much paranormal stuff out there. But anyway, that's indefinitely on hold. The pups are doing good. You want to see Cody? Anybody want to see Cody? Where's Cody? Come here. Come over here. Look who's here. Come here. Look. Come on up here. There's Cody. Hello. Everybody say hi to Cody. Look. What's this? There's Cody. Look, who's outside? And then here's Sadie. Sadie, come here. Come on. Come here, Sadie. Come here. Up. What's this? Oh, Sadie's very old, so I'm going to go like this. Sadie, look. There's Sadie. Can you guys see Sadie? Look, come here. Here. No, she's kind of shy. So that's Sadie. Sadie's like, how old are you, Sadie? Oh, here, you can see Sadie. How old are you? Sadie's like 12. Are you a good girl? She gets really excited. I better not get them barking. It's really like, they really go. Yeah, Cody, again, by the way, Cody is Kody, because her name is Kodiak. On her birth certificate at the hospital, it was Kodiak. And then they put her paw print on there instead of, no, I'm just kidding. Kodiak, that's who she's named after. Yeah, Sadie and Cody. Right on, Rainey. Oh, gosh, what else is going on? I think I'm going to get a bass tin hound moose. Moose, did you see the episode I did at the Coondog Cemetery? Was that Arkansas? I think I was on my way home in Arkansas. That was pretty fun. Yeah, Britton. You've got did you get a new pup, Britton? I know you sent me an older picture. What have you been doing, Britton? Britton, I haven't talked to you for a while, man. I just been so on the go, getting ready for this trip too. Alabama, yeah, not Arkansas, Alabama. Thanks, Cheryl. By the way, shout out to Cheryl. Cheryl helped me a lot with the story. A story I found in Deadwood. Cheryl, is it a good story? I think it's a good story. I think, and none of you have heard of it, this person. But it's like, how could you have not heard about it? There's so much history that you look at the story, like the guy in Indiana that made his own guillotine and laid down. By the way, YouTube didn't like that, so nobody new gets to see that. Where he laid down and then he chopped his head off with his hotel room guillotine. I mean, how did we not all know that story from history class? I don't know. Lucy Gargaz. How do you pronounce that? $20. Thank you. Very generous. Did I miss anybody on the cashola? By the way, again, briefly on the tombstones. Wait, Heidi said, more important, Mothman. Yeah, so, gosh, okay. So Jennifer Lewis in Boston, Verena Keller, the forgotten daughter of the parents who killed the other daughter, buried in the same coffin. Thantos, shout out to Thantos, Jack Moore, by the way, man. You got to get on his site. I'm on his Patreon, and every day I'm getting a picture from Jack Ward from that. I, dude, where do you get those pictures? Like every day you're getting them. And then I'm getting a couple of stories. When I get a story off there, I'm shouting you out definitely. So yeah, Marlene, the update on that is, so we got Verenas. I think it was like over $2,000 for that stone. And by the way, I'm going to talk, when Jennifer sends that, I'm going to talk about the cemetery. Two things. They were absolute pain in the ass. Sorry, but we're going to talk about that. Non-cooperative. And the other thing is they would not let us put her gravestone vertical. All the gravestones there you saw in my video, they're all vertical. And the Keller's is buried in the ground, which is pathetic. Nobody cared about it. We found it. And then they made us put Verena's stone. We spent $2,000, more than two. Jennifer Lewis, if you're here, how much should we spend on that stone? And we made it authentic. It's not like a modern granite thing. I think it's granite, but we made it look like the old time matching. And they made us bury it in the ground. They would not allow us to stand up. So all the Kellers are like buried in the ground. Why, and they're going to get covered up again. And that's a bunch of BS. And I'm calling that cemetery whatever it is. I don't remember. So we got that stone. Going to California, Jeanette Stevens of the Inglewood, Babes of Inglewood, the 3 girls that were murdered. We found the 2 girls. Jeanette Stevens was unmarked at a different cemetery. We're waiting on that one. It might be another year. Then we have 2 stones in Oak Ridge, working with Troost, Frank Troost. Now we're working 3 stones with him. The 2 there for the Gacy victim who was just identified. And then the unknown stranger from the Ruth Wanderer story with Britain, both of those with Britain. And then we have another stone, the big, massive stone of a semi-truck, granite, all carving stuff that Truce is doing, over $9,000 for Leroy Woods. Remember, the little Joshua Woods was killed in the jet crash when the jet ran through at Midway Airport, went through the wall, hit the cars, and crushed the little boy inside the back seat, and his parents survived. And just the whole family was just like, so that stone is, I'm told by Frank, October coming in. We pay everything up front. It's all paid for. Like I said, I'm in the red. Yeah, so I just fit the bill. I'm paying for the way it's working out between, and thank you so much, Patreon. That is making a big difference. You guys sending money on Super Chat, and I'm getting also the not Instagram, the PayPal money has made a huge difference right now. I'm paying about half. You guys are paying about half, and we're into it now. Besides the stuff I already bought, like Aliska Perubik stone or Little Willie's. I think Willie's you guys helped on, but we're into it. Probably $25,000 of. Oh, we've done other stuff too, by the way. Anyway, too long to go into. That's just the stuff that's going on. T Mouse 65. So your brother has a stone, your brother-in-law has a stone with a big rig on it. How about the one on our Facebook? I pop into the Facebook just to scan it once in a while. And there was a husband and wife in their Volkswagen van. And it like looked real. Like you could see inside, and they're both sitting there all happy. And I think they're both, and that might be a grave that where they're not dead yet. I'd be curious to know, are they dead? They looked kind of more modern. I don't think they're, maybe that's, when people make the stone ahead of time and put their picture on it. There was one across the street from Britain. What's the cemetery across the street from Bohemian National? The one where you've got relatives in there. There's a lot of Syrian, Albanian, and they go nuts with their stones with pictures and carvings and sandblasting and etching. Montrose Cemetery, thanks, yeah. So that stone I'm talking about, Britain, where it's a husband and wife, and it's like the whole thing's done and they're still alive, like big porcelain. It's like, whoa, man, that's planning. You think you're going to get hit by a truck? Hi, Ron from Brooklyn, New York. Azraelina. I hope I'm not butchering your name. Good to see you. Glad you could. Trisha, oh wow, the VW one. Did you see that one? Yeah, it's pretty cool. I love that one. What else is happening? Come on, you guys. What do you any questions? Any let's see if I have anything on my list. So get on Instagram because next week I'm going to be it's not going to be as much in Minnesota, but when I get to the Black Hills, I know I'm going to be finding stuff for you guys and to be getting excited. I think we're Tokyo Rose and yeah, right. The Fuchs, which I said I call them the Futches, but then a million people said, no, it's pronounced Fuchs. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Super cool idea. Glad people are getting new stones. Second music player, $10. Thank you very much. That helps. And yep, there's the Instagram. Get on the Instagram, guys, because you're going to be these episodes on my Northwestern trip are going to come out slower because I'm not going to just go editing nuts every night. I want to do some tourism now, see some museums. And then part of it is I'm just going to go where, like when I get towards Western Montana or Western Wyoming and Montana, Casper, Billings, all that in there. I might go further west. I might make it to Butte, or who knows where, depending on talking to locals and hearing stories. But I've got a really good list of stories. I have 12 stories for this trip, not 35, not 40. I got 12 really good stories. But like I say, some of them are in a couple of them at least are in 4 locations, 4 spots. And with the little Jimmy's coming, so he's going to be doing it up. So what else is happening? The video that sticks with me is the one with the rooster. That was down in Louisiana. Yeah, that was at what cemetery was that? That was a interesting cemetery. I can't remember. I'm so bad with names sometimes. But yeah, that rooster, I thought he was going to attack me, but he was just like hanging out with me. Are there any stories of children? I do have one coming up of a boy. I think he was 14 years old from Southern Illinois. I think that's coming up Wednesday. But little children, yes. On this trip, I do have one about little children, similar to the story that I did in Texas that went viral. For me, at least, it went viral. Remember the story of the family that was taken out by the Comanches? They were herding sheep down. It was in Texas. By the way, I have a lot of Texas stories. Debbie Williams, thanks for the $10. It's good to see you. Will you ever do a story on someone you personally knew? Yeah, I was thinking of doing my best friend Daryl, but I would think you guys would be bored with that, talking about our fishing days and all the good memories. I don't know, what do you guys think, man? He's at Holy Sepulchre. I can never get it right. Sepulchre. Is it Sepulchre, right? Yeah, the Badlands, the Dust Bowl. Rebel One, where are you at? O'Donnell, Wisconsin, Bad River. I did a story up in Bad River. I know that's just north of where I'm at, Rebel One. I'm in the Mercer area. So I've been up to Bad River. I did that the Bad River Tribe Cemetery. I caught some heat for that, by the way, but that's where they had taken the ancestors and they were doing some road work and they were just dumping the bodies in the river. You should watch. That's one of my earliest episodes. Goes back to yeah, I know how it's spelled, but how's it pronounced? Sepulchre, right? Or is it Sepulchra? Might be Sepulchra. I always have trouble with that one. Rice Lake, I always go through Rice Lake. By the way, I'm going to do a story in Hayward, north of Hayward. There's a little town called Cable, Cable, Mount Telemark. So if you're from Rice Lake, you know what I'm talking about. It's just to the west of you, I believe. And by the way, Rice Lake, cool lake. When I was flying my seaplane, I did something really crazy. I flew my son, Nathan, when he was like 8 years old. He wanted to hang out with 2 of his classmates, the 2 girls. They had a lake house on Rice Lake, and we're on Fence Lake, I think it was. And I took off. It was like 15-minute flight. And I landed on their lake, and their dad was in the fishing boat. And Nathan hopped out. It was in the morning. I said, I'll be back to pick you up tonight before sundown. So they went to see the Paul Bunyan show to Rice Lake, and they had fun. And then I picked them up in the de Havilland Beaver. Good memories. Gregory Clayton, Greg the Egg, $20. Thank you. Why did I say Clanton? I'm thinking of the Clantons. Rice Lake, future son-in-law from there. As long as, let's see, Melissa. Yeah, Christographs. Hey, Christographs. Christographs, by the way, everybody. He's been here since, I think when did you join my channel? When I was like 500 subscribers in the first month. I think you were here in the first month. One of our shout out to Christographs 101. You do know Cable, Rebel One. Lovely area. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a story there of someone that you're talking about, someone that I knew, but someone that actually isn't famous, but is in the books. Like you can look them up in the flying world. And so Cable, I'm going to definitely, but I used to go to Lake Owen. Lake Owen is this long, skinny lake, goes like 3 miles, and it has the clearest, they call it gin clear waters. And when I was in high school, we'd go fishing with the family there, stay at the cabin. And I remember my friend Terry and I would go snorkeling, and it was so clear, and you could see the walleyes and the pike and schools of rock bass. I will never forget. There's a sunken rowboat from the 1940s, wooden. That's a really cool area of Wisconsin. Yeah, 50 to 100 subs. Elephant Dog says I should do the story of my friend. His name is Daryl. His name, if you want to look him up, I got this for you. His name is Daryl Humphrey. Humphry, and I forget the year that he passed away. He died young of a massive heart attack. He was in his 40s. It was a shock to all of us. And Daryl Humphrey is at Holy Sepulchre. So I did a find a grave for him a couple of years ago, and I have the whole, not the whole, but a part of the story. So you can look him up. And if you guys want me to do an episode with Daryl, I say with, because when I go see him, I talk to him and I feel like he's there with me. We'll go visit Daryl if you want. If you guys think, if you guys want to see that. So let's see. Jasmine says, I see from your last video that you attended. And there goes your comment. Boom, flies right by. Let me back up here. SIU. You went to SIU what year? Cool. Yeah, I graduated in 81. Carol Carter, 550 for 20. Thank you so much. Very cool. Where are you from, Carol? Let us know. Kimberly says it was worse yesterday. Oh yeah, Kimberly, Philly. Is it coming down to Pennsylvania? Is it coming all the way down there? I'll bet it is. Ron, will you do the episode with Britain for Halloween? No, I'm not even sure where I'm gonna be for Halloween. I do know that mid-month I'll be in Rhode Island. If Britain might come out. That would be cool. You guys, I'm inviting all you guys mid-October. I will come up with more details, but I'll be in Rhode Island if everyone wants a road trip there. Christograph said, yeah, I'd like to see, and Nancy Litton would like to see, and Lorraine Scott says, I'd like to, and several of you. Okay, so remind me. I got to make a note somewhere. We'll do a story on Daryl. Did anybody find him on Find a Grave? Tommy the cat will certainly be there. Yeah, it shouldn't be too. Yeah, you live in Rhode Island. I don't think that, like meetups, I just don't see a lot of people coming because it's a pain in the butt. Like, and no one's going to come just to see me. So I got another idea. I was originally thinking of starting a convention for cemetery walkers like us, but I kind of thought it through, and I said, well, you have conventions. Conventions are kind of supported and structured, architectural built around vendors and people that are selling things and people that are buying things. Like you have the cemeteries convention, and that's where people are selling caskets and embalming. I mean, I don't know, I've never been, but I wish there was somewhere where once a year there was a convention for cemetery enthusiasts. And yeah, bring people selling stuff. I don't know what you'd sell because we're cemetery enthusiasts are not looking for caskets and embalming. What would we be looking for? Is there any basis that we can I might, I'm the type of guy where I'm an entrepreneur, not to make money, but on something like this, but start a new convention. I started a platform of architectural firms about 10 years ago, and I started with 3 firms. We built it to 5 and then to 10, and now it's a global organization, and you get people on board. So I'm thinking of a way once a year how we could meet where there's meeting where you could pick good places like Vegas or Florida or wherever. Uh, but I don't know if anybody, yeah, blonde, rosy 3, exactly. Things to decorate graves, maybe. So the backup to that whole plan, since it's probably not going to be feasible to like make a convention for cemetery enthusiasts, is maybe it's and I would be interested to go to at least one, maybe every year, is what is the biggest convention for death? And I'm not talking about paranormal. I'm talking about morticians, embalmers, casket sellers. Like, what is the big? There's got to be a convention every year, and maybe next year or whenever we just meet there. I don't know. Or would that be stupid? Because like, I mean, we're all interested in death. We're all intrigued with that, and I think we're intrigued with that stuff. But I don't know if it's like an annual thing. But I'm just trying to think of funeral directors convention. Right, Nolan, very good. Maybe have a YouTuber party. But the Gregory, that's the problem. We can just do it online and blow the whistle. But like the funeral directors convention, like, does anybody know where that's been? Do a cemetery walk at Sleepy Hollow in New York. Yeah, that would be cool. What else here? Da, da, da. But yeah, I'm thinking I'd love a medallion with your logo on it. Ellen. Yeah. Speaking of that, somebody went to our store and we don't sell that I know of. We're not selling stickers. And I got a couple emails today and yesterday from one of our viewers who was buying a sticker or stickers, and then she never got the stickers, but she paid. So I hope has anybody had any problems with the store? Because it could be like an in-between thing where people are stealing money. They happened in my office years ago where someone was emailing my people with like his email masquerading as me to send a PayPal for some client. I need the money now. And they were falling for it. And that went on for just there's horrible people out there. A sleepover at a cemetery and you tell stories. Yeah. We got to find a cemetery that'll let us do it though. I know of one, but I don't know if they'd allow a convention of people, but that would be fun. I would say stay in the mausoleum. Oh, that would be epic. Like one of those mausoleums I did. Did you guys like that one I did of the one at Oak Ridge? That was it just gave me really bad feelings inside when I went through there. And I had to get the nerve up to go in the basement, but there was just a bad vibe. I can't explain it. A bad vibe in there. And there were some people, young kids that died violently that are in there. Maybe that's where it's coming. Cave Hill Cemetery. Yes, I've been there. I did Mia Zapata story, Kristen, just search on YouTube. Mia Zapata, Zapata. A couple of years ago, I was at Cave Hill. I call Cave Hill the cemetery of bronze statues. I've never seen so many bronze statues, and not old ones. They're like the last 20 years. Arlington National, yeah. I have had that on my list. I have 25 stories there and not the usual stuff So don't worry, I will get to Arlington National at some point, but it's not going to be JFK and all the. I have my list. Acacia Park was creepy. Yeah, right, Britain. That was like that didn't give me a bad vibe though. That was just creepy inside. That was that Masons, all that. Yeah, that one room, the one room that was dedicated to that one family with the busts, the bronze. Man, that's like, and you could just imagine that place in the 1920s. It was like a church. People were there. It was crowded, flowers, and now nobody. I always say after the second or third generation, they become forgotten. Not everyone, but 90%. You can go to Mount Carmel. You can go to Mount Carmel and you can see the old section, which is most of it, and there's no flowers. There's never anybody. Isn't that interesting? Now, speaking of Mount Carmel, one of our viewers, Miss Lillistrom, am I pronouncing it right? Sent me a image of a oval of a father and a baby post-mortem together. It's one of those where we have to decide, but it looks post-mortem to me and it's creepy. Dana Sereno for $5. Thank you. Where are you from, Dana? Amanda could not comfortably watch a movie from a cemetery. I think they do that at a few cemeteries. You guys are probably talking about it, but that is something they do at Forest Home, I think. You know, they do a big Halloween thing up there, and a lot of cemeteries do it. A Night in Bachelor's Grove. Bachelor's Grove is overrated. It's not scary. It's just a dump, in my opinion. It's really sad. It's desecrated. There's just a few graves there, and it's a party hangout. Bachelor's Grove. People ask me. I said I did Bachelor's Grove. I did a video there. It's a terrible place, and there's horrible people there. People fighting, people scratching each other, faces bleeding, weirdos, drug users, Satan worshipers, you name it. I think, Britton, you told me that you almost had an incident, some kind of crazy incident there. Bohemia National and Forest Home. Yeah, Forest Home does, they host concerts too. Remember when we went to Forest Home, Britain, the last time we were doing Adolf Lutgert, where we found his grave. And they basically had a rock band, or not a Latin band out there up on the east side, southeast side of the cemetery. Is it illegal to be in a cemetery at dark? Yeah, 99% of the time it is just once the sun goes down, you're not supposed to be in the cemetery, and they can't arrest you because it's private property. But sometimes, like I've gotten special permission at certain cemeteries for, to not like a couple, but it's very hard. Do a story on the shark killings in New Jersey. Yeah, it's Wolfland. It's funny. Kimberly brought that up in an email, I think yesterday or this morning. I've had that on my list for 2 years. I know that story, but you know what? It's worn out on YouTube. It's been done so much. I'm looking for more stories that, like, you guys already know those stories. I'm looking to tell you stories you don't know. It's pretty worn out, and I, as you know, I avoid. But it's still on my list, if I get there. But it's not high on my list. It's probably at the bottom just because so many people have done it on YouTube. It doesn't intrigue me. And part of the intrigue is that I don't know it and I investigate it. And that's part of the fun. But I already know that story. It's a sad story. It's pretty brutal. Hope you've done any cemeteries in New Jersey. I got a list there in New Jersey. Quite a few. There's, New Jersey, New York. Man, if I lived in New York, there is so much. It's like probably even more than Chicago. I could spend 5 years. How about the guy who got angry during your live stream? Yeah. Do you know? I'm telling you, that guy was, I think he had some problems. I think so. I kind of backed off on that. I didn't provoke him, hopefully. but I wasn't backing down either. The living and the dead were rocking on that day. They were. They were. That guy scared El Saros. Yeah, he was. And I was back at that cemetery 2 weeks later doing an actual story there. So got some good. That's one that's probably going to come out in fall. We'll see. I got some stuff yeah, he was definitely unhinged. I took that down off YouTube. I had it up for a few hours, but I think the reason I took it down mainly is, again, the streaming issues. I don't know what's going on, but it was like so fuzzy. The resolution was like 75 out of 4K. When I say, there's 480, it was like everyone was complaining, so I just took it down. But I'm kind of glad I took it down too, because we don't need to see this the mad guy. It's just it's a negative feeling. That was Dracula's Castle. Yeah, remember the rainstorm? Now that episode went well, and I had the same phone, and we did a lot of, I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Am I the only one where these live streams are buffering, even though I have like almost a full signal? It just started a few months ago. I don't have time, but I got to chat with my YouTube support, maybe ask them. But I usually when I do, I just get all BS stock answers. They don't really, you just can't, they don't tell you anything. What happened with the arrow you found? As a matter of fact, when I moved, I found it in my garage and I put gloves on and I threw it away. I was like, crap, if I cut my hand and get this blood on my hand, who knows what I'm going to catch? So that was like a latent dangerous thing in my garage. And I was cleaning up, packing with the movers. And I'm like, don't touch that arrow. For everybody that doesn't know, Cheryl was asking about the arrow that I found that had blood on it. Someone had probably shot a deer and it was laying in front of a gravestone on a live stream. Karen, yours buffers sometimes too. Maybe I'll try it. On this trip, I'll try some live streaming, but it's just so frustrating. Hey, Linda, how you doing? Boston has some really old cemeteries. Yeah, I love Boston. I haven't really gotten that much in Boston. On the one trip, I did like 3 or 4 or 5. No, I take that back. Last summer, we did a lot in Boston. I did a lot, actually. Have you been to Michigan Memorial Park in Flat Rock? I have not. What's there? Is it a nice cemetery, or is there any kind of a crazy story there? I'm going for New Jersey axe murders, Mount Pleasant. I do have a couple of axe murders, and it's not Villisca. I'm so sick of hearing Villisca axe murders. I've got like 3 axe murder stories. I've got 2 more that nobody's heard of. I shouldn't say nobody's heard of, but there's no coverage on it. But yeah, New Jersey axe murders. Actually, I got 3 axe murder stories. I just got another one that was up in Canada, up in Ontario. I've got to get to Ontario. I've got a story that's close to my heart up there of a boy, and it's just so far, man. I got to go across the border, and there's not close to any major city. It's like, yeah, vandals hurt the deer. You're right. They're killing the deer. Maybe they need food. Maybe I don't think so. I think they're shooting deer at the cemeteries for sport. Just shooting them to kill them. That's what wolves do. Wolves kill animals just to kill them. The real wolves, timber wolves and things. Many wolves, they don't even eat the deer they kill. They just kill. So those are human wolves. Wife and I met Scott on tape in New Jersey a few months ago in Princeton before we went to Princeton Cemetery. Do more with Scott. Wolfland said, yeah, Scott's a great guy. We will be doing more with Scott. Scott and I were going to try and hook up on this trip, but we were thinking Minneapolis, but I'm not even going to be like Minnesota. I'm going to be south, and I'm going to be booming through, and then I'm heading for the Black Hills and then out west. So I I don't think I'm going to have to wait for the next time with Scott. And it's so funny. He is running so fast. He's doing so much great content. His channel, he just hit 200,000 subscribers. I'm really excited for him. And he's just going like that. Very cool. Just like Part-Time Explorer. Part-Time Explorer is going to pass me. I'm going to tell you. And he only does like one episode every 2 weeks, maybe. Like you don't have to just pump out the content. If he's got really, it shows you what good stuff he has. He's like growing like a maniac. Did Daryl? Yeah, I think that's Jasmine, Daryl passed away in 96. Daryl passed away just after I started my firm, which was 93. It might have been, I can't remember, but it was around then. If you were to have asked me, I would have said 95, 94, but maybe, yeah, there's a picture of him. I've got his picture. He's got like a hat on. Yeah, Cecil, he had a soft heart. He was my best friend, and it was just a shock. I mean, he was like, if he were still alive, my life would have been different. And to start with, it would have been enhanced by so many ways. Like his big dream was to get a house on Tomahawk Lake, not Lake, Lake Tomahawk, the big lake between the town of Lake Tomahawk. So he lived on this lake called South Two Lakes. There's North and South Two Lake. He had this little brick house, little cabin, and his dream, and he had just started his construction company. And by the way, everybody loved Daryl. So he just had quit Turner Construction. He started Deerfield Development. He would be a multimillionaire today because everybody loved him. He's the guy that would buy 2 of everything. Get a snowmobile, buy 2. Fishing lures, Cabela's, he'd order all the fishing lures that you could buy through the catalog, and he would get 2. That's where I get my buy 2. Like anytime I buy something I like, get another one, because like you'll never see it again. So so many stories about Daryl. But yeah, he has a massive heart attack out of nowhere. And he never got to get his house on Lake Tomahawk because his company was just starting, and then he's gone. And I'll tell you guys, I'm 63, and it's funny. You start on and off. I start thinking about death more, and I'm not religious. I'm more scientific, but I believe in a higher power. But I don't know, and it's a lot of this stuff, and it's kind of scary to think, what if the lights just go out when we die? That's kind of frightening. Like, so live every day, the best you can, enjoy, and you have your memories. That's making memories, and that's all we have. Tomorrow's not guaranteed, right? You hear that all the time. But man, it's kind of frightening to think about. I feel like I'm my last 1/4 of my life, maybe the last 1/3. Hopefully I make it to my 80s. I actually want to live to my 90s. I feel really good. Like, I don't feel like I'm 63. I look like I'm 63, but I feel like, but you go through religions, and you have Catholicism and Buddhism and the Quran, right? The Allah, and I don't know all the religions, but there's how many religions? Thousands, hundreds. And I really feel like, there's a higher power, but I kind of feel, I was thinking about it just introspectively, philosophically, and I just wondered, is religion here just to give us purpose, that there is something beyond this world? Because it's pretty dark to think, like, if there's no God or no next life, like I'm kind of hoping for reincarnation, but I can't remember my past life. So what's good is it? If you can't remember, memories, everything. It'd be pretty dark to think that when we die, the lights just go off and that's it. Like, that would suck. But I don't know. It's kind of scary. I mean, if you have faith, you're not scared at all. I've seen people that have unbelievable faith, and they're like, let's go. I'm ready to die. They don't want to die, but it's like, let's go. I think that's great. Ellie family died and came back, and it doesn't what? It doesn't hurt? Did you see the light at the end? Like they say when you die, you see the light. Thanks, Greg. I got a friendly face. I'm friendly. I'm a pretty friendly guy. We're all gonna die, Carol Carter. Yeah. And our life is so short here. I mean, we feel like it's long. We're getting so much in, but it's like that, right? We're gonna be one of those gravestones that we are looking at. Cecil has died twice. You're an atheist. So Cecil, do you believe in reincarnation? Like I do. I actually believe that our energy, I shouldn't say here, our energy's here in our brain. Our heart's pumping great, but it's all here. This is where I believe our soul is. And you can't destroy energy. When you die, the energy has to leave. It has to go somewhere. Does it stay together or does it dissipate? But the energy is there. It's the science. Talking science now. The older you get, the faster it goes. Yeah, flow, right? It's frightening. You know, I was watching my boys play. So my son Nathan's 18, 6'7", built like this. And I'm sitting, I can't play basketball with them anymore. So they're having 2-on-2. We have a little basketball court up there. And I'm just looking at them. I go, why? I remember when I was your age, I never even thought about, I had my whole life in front of me. I never even thought about death. You're such good shape. And there's just the freedom and the world's my oyster. What's going to happen with my life? And now when you get in your 60s or 70s, you just like, you start thinking about death. Not everybody maybe, but I find it fascinating. T. Mouse says, yes, but science comes from man. Yeah, that's true. But science is what we can see and touch. So if the science and the physics of what we have are made by God, then it's from God. When God calls you home, you go, Sally Cotto says. That's true. But when we die, there is nothing, just what we was before. Let me tell you something. You know what's a living death? Anybody know what disease is a living death? I mean, cancer's bad. A lot of the diseases, ways to die. But there's one thing that I think is like, if there was a God, how could he let, or it let, or whatever, people let this happen? And that is dementia. I was going to say Alzheimer's. Yes. That is so cruel because all we have is the moment we're living in, which is going like this. But what do we have? What's our treasure box? What's everything? Come on. What's the most important thing that we have? It's our memories. Our memories are everything. It's like the library of our lives that we, like if you're depressed, you can always lay down, close your eyes and go back to a memory. It'll make you smile. They're all the memories of your life, the children, the happy experience. Yeah, our brain, but I'm talking about this cruel disease of Alzheimer's and dementia, but mainly Alzheimer's, where you're still alive and your memory is erased. What's the point of living? That's so cruel. It's so cruel. I hope I die fast. When I die, I hope I die in my sleep. Everybody's dream, right? There's been points where I saw death. You know, when the airplane, I said I'm going to die, when I bailed out. When I was in a car crash last year, you guys don't know about this, most of you. I was in a really bad car crash in the Ram truck, spinning and hitting a wall and a truck on the highway. And I went under the truck and I said, I was like, and you know what you do? You know what I did in the moments? I remember I was yelling, no, no, no. I said it like 4 times. And as I'm yelling no, I'm like, please no, please no. And you in the instant, before. And I'm thinking of those that have died, like the story of the guy that went off the cliff. And I'm just ranting here. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I remember the girl and the boy. You have to imagine it was like slow motion. This going down 600 feet straight down. And he had to be holding the wheel going, no, please, please. And then lights go out. Well, the lights didn't go out for me, but I had a number of experiences like that where I thought I was going to die. And you are resisting. You are saying no. That's my reaction. Is like, no. Eli family, 1983, when I died, I was thrown in a void, heard people screaming. They are dead and they know they belong. But so you actually were kind of in the in-between world, right? How did you die? Linda, I see you. Linda, come back to me. Linda Schallbeck. I saw you before. I got to catch up. Where's Linda? Linda, come back. You just retracted your message. I saw that. How are you doing, Linda? Christographs. I was with my mom when she died in the hospital. She was 57. Were you holding her hand? My boss, who I used to work for, told me he was with his mom when she died in the hospital and he was holding her hand. He said he physically, I know I've mentioned this on that one sit down, we physically watched her soul leave her body. He saw her energy, and it was not from down here. It was like from her coming up. I'll never forget he told me that. And this is a guy who, he's not spiritual. When we'd have a big problem, he'd always say, hey, Ron, don't worry about it. We're all going to be 6 feet under in a matter of time. So don't worry about it. We have a crisis at work. We're all going to be 6 feet under. He's right. Ellen Newth believes in reincarnation, past life experiences. I remember hiding in a root cellar during the Civil War. Cool. I'm with you. But Kimberly Park, can you see me? Yes. But Ellen, I need to do one of those the hypnotic regressions. Maybe that's how to do it. Because I can't remember anything. I've had some deja vu moments, but if I lived in the past, I really want to, yeah, I am a risk taker, but I am a managed risk taker because I believe you can't live in a bubble. You have to experience life. And you can't experience life without taking risks, but just don't take stupid risks. So I kind of, with the warplane, I kind of did my homework and did my preparation. That's what saved my life. But it's still scary. But, that's me. I'm an adventurer. I was born, I'm telling you, maybe this is why I was born 150 years too late. I want to be a pioneer. I want to be, in the Black Hills and with Wild Bill, or I want to be, and it was huge risk, but I want to be in Texas. I want to be back in those days, Tombstone. I always have this fantasy of, I lay in bed and I'll go, just imagine if I could go in a time machine and I could set the date, kind of like the movie The Time Machine. Remember the guy was in there with the spinning thing behind him? Family classics. And I said, oh, if I could do that, I'd go back to a year, maybe 6 months before the shootout at the OK Corral. I wouldn't drop into Tombstone, but of course, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you got to drop in naked. So it's like, all right, I'm going to drop into a mile out of Tombstone. I'm going to be naked. So I got to get clothes. I got to get a horse. How am I going to do that? And then, but I know what's going to happen. So I got to meet Wyatt Earp, right? I got to meet Doc Holliday, and I know they're there, but I can't walk up to them and go, hey, I got to play it cool. I got to bump into them. Hey, what's going on? And then maybe a day later and just find some reason. It's kind of like court them, become, like Turkey Creek or, one of the guys. And then when the shootout happens, maybe I can help. I don't know, some crazy fantasy I have. Yeah, you're right, Britton. There are life energies out there. Science. Eclectic, Kathy. I can't even pronounce that. You're 62 and having the same thought. You have strong belief in God and the afterlife, but I'm not in a hurry. It seems like I can figure out how I got so old so fast. My mom had Alzheimer's. Ugh. Like I said, that's the cruelest disease. Sally Cotto, I've seen plenty of times where someone does, you can see their souls. It has caught my dash cams. Wow. Oh, you know what somebody told me? Speaking of that, the Tesla car has some, they were telling me in the paranormal stuff, the Teslas have some kind of front sensor. And somebody wrote, you can see this on YouTube. They took the Tesla in the cemetery at night, and you could see like energy sources, like ghosts. Anybody try that? Anybody have a Tesla? I don't have a Tesla. I can't afford a Tesla. Anybody got a Tesla? Go out and do that. Go to a cemetery, right? Tesla does. Yeah. Cheeto love. My grandmother went from being a child riding a covered wagon to flying planes. Really? But she lived long enough to catch both eras. Like she was born in the late 1800s, or was it a past life you're talking about? Uh-oh, somebody's getting restless here. What do you want? Who is it? Who do you see? What do you want? What's this? Look. Sadie. Oh, she'll start. Oh, they're starting to get excited. No. Sit down. You too. We'll take you out in a little bit. I got to take the dogs out pretty soon, guys. How long have we been going here? This is, oh my God, an hour and 20? It seems like we've been only going like 45 minutes. Cool. All right. So what do you think? Should we wrap this live stream up? Let me see if I've got any more. I do want to tell you before we go about what's coming up Sunday night. A family of ghouls. Okay, so this is a family. We're in Ohio, and it's going to be more than 30 minutes. I think I have the drone. Oh, I definitely have little Jimmy and the spooky music. But this is a really intriguing one of resurrectionists. True story, newspaper articles, the whole thing, pictures. So we will see you Sunday night, and I'll be on the road. I'm leaving early Saturday morning. So we'll just, I don't know when or I'm going to pop up, but be on Instagram if you can, please. I will catch a lot of you there. I'll leave some stuff on YouTube posts too, if I can. All right. Glad you enjoyed the live stream, Vicky and everybody else. And Wendy, good to see you, Wendy. You're going to have to watch it on the replay. Where were you? I was looking for you. Yellow Rose, see ya. Ellen, Krista Graffs, Blonde Rosie, Marlene Pearson, Sally, Kareen, Bren, Vicky. Who did I miss? Tommy the Cat still hanging. Good night, everybody. It was great seeing you, and I'll see you, if not before Sunday night. And I am heading out. Safe travels to me. Safe travels to all of you. Stay safe, all right? And don't breathe in that smoke. Wear a mask in New York or wherever. All right, see you later.